Hi, hey, Frank Aldridge here. Look, just wanted to talk you through our collaborative agile procurement 2-day training workshop. So if you're looking at this, you've got some sort of interest. So this is really just me walking you through the whole sort of program and where it came from. But fundamentally, back in 2014, I was doing two lots of work. I was doing work where I was working for clients who were responding to tenders, and I was doing work where I was actually writing the tenders. And what I found when I was doing the responding to tenders thing was, gee, most people doing this stuff are really bad at it, and it was really frustrating. I got sort of quite frustrated with the whole thing. So my business coach at the time said, look, come up with a different model. So we did, and that's one that we've now used since 2014. It's served us very well, and it's a fundamental to what this workshop's built on. So the new paradigm that I came up with back then was collaborative, courteous, and considerate. And collaborative is just getting the best brains working together to get the best outcomes. Courteous is just respect without rank, and then considerate is think of others. So we bring that into procurement. It's a major shift away from master servant. And so what we sort of find that one of the big problems is most people doing procurement are working from outdated models. One of my claims to fame is over the last 7 years, I've done over 115 procurement projects, and and I guess we're always coming up with against a challenge. And when we work out a way around it, and then hey, that's a new technique. That's part of our training methodology. So, but we're sort of really trying to move away from those outdated master servant type models. Then it's really just a lot of what people do is they just copy what someone else did. So I don't copy what anyone else did, and I don't even copy what I did. We go in and do a new contract. I might have done the same contract for the same client, say 5 years before. I take a fresh look at it just to make sure that, hey, we're current with the market, we're current with our latest techniques, and so we don't copy what we did last time or what anyone else did. And the other thing we just see is really clunky, slow, process-driven techniques. Process-driven because, hey, that's safe. So if we're safe, we might get the wrong supplier, but we can't get in trouble. And the problem with that is, hey, look, at the end of the day, we just want to make sure we get the best supplier every time without breaking the rules and without sort of breaking any laws. So what the workshop's built around is, for a start, there's some smart thinking stuff, and then we get ultimately what I'm trying to find is, for a particular project, an attractive strategy that works, that means suppliers will want to come and do business with us. And so it's getting those strategies attractive. And then, hey, at the end of the day, we've got to make sure we get the right outcome. We see a lot of people doing procurement who focus so much on the process that they get the wrong supplier or the wrong outcome, wrong contract model. So around that first piece of stuff, we've got a bunch of sort of tools that we've developed, and so some of these are around that new paradigm, some of them are around techniques called the preferred respondent. These are things that have really been game changers for us, and we'll teach you how to do all of those. Then we've got some fundamental strategy development tool. It's a real beauty. It's something I learned back in my days at Shell, way back about 30 years ago. But we use it for everything, and we use it a lot in procurement. Then we've got a thing called the Right Track Workshop. I'm pretty proud of that. I actually invented it. So it's just a workshop that we do at the front end of a project. It's really quick. It's very engaging. A lot of flip charts, a lot of post-it notes, moving people around, all that sort of stuff. And it works really well. It's all designed to give me as much information I can as short a time as I can, so that I can come up with the right strategy. So then we've got a thing called the Strategy Jam session, and that's where we've just got a whole bunch of sort of different techniques and tools and strategies that we've developed over the years. Then, hey, what ones are we going to use for this project? So sort of talk you through a whole bunch of those and the pros and cons of each of them. Then we've got to go to the market. So we've just got some, I guess, easy ways of doing that. We'll talk you through all of that. What we do in these training workshops too is we typically tend to work on about 3 to 4 real projects, and we we go right through all the stuff with them. We plan them up, we do the right track workshop, we just decide what strategy to use and how we're going to go to the market, that sort of stuff. So we're doing it on real projects. And then we've got techniques around evaluating. Again, we've just done lots and lots of procurement projects in the last particularly the last 7 years. We've done some really intense stuff, and we've just come up with easier ways of doing things. Easier for the market, easier for the client, and they just work a whole lot better. So that's really what we cover in the workshop. It's really just around, hey, this is the way I do procurement nowadays. So I guess for these areas, rate yourself. Are you using the traffic lights? Like red's like, man, I'm really bad at this. Yellow's, well, sort of got a little bit, and green's like, yeah, we're sweet, we've really got this under control. So where would you sort of put yourself on the mindset stuff, on the strategy tools, the planning? How do you go about that? What, just mentally give yourself a red, yellow, or a green. Coming up with different strategies. How good are you at that? Then, what are your ways of going to the market? Are they flexible? Are they fast? Are they easy? Same with the evaluation stuff. Is it flexible, fast, easy? How do you do all that sort of stuff? So when I first started doing procurement, I was pretty blimmin' awful, actually, I've got to admit. But we've just developed this stuff over the years and got better and better at it. But my goal is always, how can I make it easy? How can I make it attractive to the market? How can I make it easy for the client? And so if you sort of come up with a few reds and oranges around there, hey, you probably need this training. Even if you're pretty experienced, we just find that we've got things that most people haven't quite thought of or haven't quite used. They've got stuck in some of those old models. I'd urge you to get along. So I'm passionate about getting this area working better, and it's really, big driver in our business is better procurement, better outcomes. So we'd love to see you along if you want to come. And if you need more information, hey, there's a button you can click to get more information. If you want to register for one of our workshops, there's a button you can click for that too. But hopefully we'll see you in a workshop sometime.